Welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen and Louis D'Souza here. Today is Monday, December the 10th, 2018. It's 8 a.m. New York time, 5 a.m. Los Angeles time. That's 1 p.m. London time. And if you're in Sydney, Australia, it's 12 midnight. So thank you for tuning in at this late hour. And we actually welcome all of our listeners from around the world. I still enjoy the fact, Louis, that we have listeners all around the world. I mean, this thing started off as a little tiny podcast when Louise and I were in Virginia, and now all of a sudden, boom, we got listeners everywhere. That just feels good. I mean, we were talking before the show about how important it is to feel good. That feels good for me. That feels really good. I love that. It just psychs me up. So, how you doing? What's happening?
I'm fantastic. Thanks. How are you, Walt? How was your weekend?
Good weekend. It was a restful weekend. It was also a happier weekend in that, as you know, and as listeners know to a certain extent, we've had a medical issue with Louise that we've been dealing with for the last few weeks. And this past Saturday was the first day that Louise came to me and said, I finally feel like my old self again. Now, it wasn't for the entire day, but that was like a big breakthrough. So she's feeling better.
That's amazing.
And that's like, that's such a relief. I mean, talk about how important relief is.
It's one of my favorite things about being sick is when you get better and you can feel the contrast between being sick and being well.
Oh, yeah.
And you really appreciate being well.
No kidding.
You don't appreciate when you're well all the time, but when you're sick and you get well, you're like, wow, this is just so nice.
I mean, she literally...
Well done, Louise. Well done.
Yes. Literally, she was in tears. I'm not kidding you. She was so happy because it's been 2 months since she felt well. And when it's been that long, it just feels like it's forever. So, yeah, it was a pretty big deal. I mean, it may not have been a big deal in other people's lives, but it certainly was in ours. And we went out to breakfast and celebrated.
I understand.
Yeah, really good stuff. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a Q&A today, and we're welcoming people to kind of wake up and say hello, and then start popping your questions if you're listening to the Law of Attraction Changed My Life group on Facebook, if you're listening to our live stream. Obviously, if you're listening to the recorded podcast, it's a little bit difficult, but that doesn't stop you necessarily. I mean,
they can jump on Blue Jeans.
Or they can jump on Blue Jeans, or they can even contact us, after the fact by email or by text message or whatever, and we still include them in the next podcast. In fact, I recall a contact that I received a few months back from a listener who was really keen to be on the program. And here I am talking to you, Louis. So, I mean, you never know what's going to happen out of those contacts because, somebody reaches out and one thing leads to another.
I think you said you've also watched that movie, Meet Joe Black, haven't you?
A long time ago, yes. I have seen that one.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a line in there. I quote a lot of the lines in there, but it's lightning may strike.
Lightning may strike. That's right.
Keep awake and aware. Who knows?
It's true. You never know what's going to happen until you put yourself out there, so to speak. So, please do contact us whichever way you want to contact us, whether it's listening to the live stream or after the fact, because we'll include it. All we have to do is have a question or a comment that you want us to discuss, and we'll include it in the discussion with one of the podcasts. So, please do contact us. And
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just remembering something that happened a couple of weeks ago where we had 3 German students come, and because of my accommodation, part of my business, I work a lot with different individuals from Europe, usually. And there were the 3 girls, and they were like 14 years old, all of them, all 3. Mm-hmm. And depending on the conversation and whatever we're talking about, I land up, of course, edging in the LOA stuff.
Of course.
And of course.
That's who you are.
Exactly. And the thing about these 3 were they were absolutely lapping it up.
Oh, nice.
Okay? So on the first day, I managed to teach them the entire basics. And they were asking questions. They were asking appropriate questions. They were really interested. They were fascinated about the idea that your emotions are your guidance system. They'd never heard of the concept before. And I asked them, day one, I want you to go out and teach 3 people each what you understand at the moment about the law of attraction. And because you're going to teach them, you're going to have more questions for me when you come back.
Mm-hmm.
And they went out and they taught one teacher and two of their colleagues the law of attraction each. And they started to realize that they didn't know as much as they wanted to. And then they started quizzing me on different aspects of the law of attraction.
Right.
And it was really fascinating because once I'd finished all the examples on day 2, they went back with a massive amount of more confidence. Okay, just hearing stories of how you implement the law of attraction as opposed to just hear the rules and how it works.
Right.
And they went out focusing on the second day very much on the only thing they really need to do is focus on keeping a high emotional state. Okay, and they did that the whole day, and they said they had the most amazing day ever.
Really?
Okay, because they just remained positive, happy, thought about what they want or what they don't want.
Well, good for
and
them.
they just moved forward, moved forward, moved forward. So they came back and they were like waxing lyrical about how amazing the day was because they were just focusing on what they wanted and they couldn't believe it was so easy, you know. And then the next day I refined it and I started going a bit deeper with all the different aspects of it. And when they left on the third day, they gave me the biggest hug ever, all three of them.
Oh, my.
And I was so incredibly grateful. And I told them about the podcast, and they might even be listening to this.
Well, if they are, hello. Thank you for tuning in.
You know, I said to them, you know, it's really beautiful that somebody can take it on board and actually run with it, because there's many people that pass through with the accommodation part of the business, and I get to be able to speak to some, and some take bit on board, some not interested at all, some I don't even feel any desire whatsoever to talk to them about it, and then of course I'm following my emotional guidance and I don't talk to them at all about it. So it's really interesting when you get somebody who really runs with it, and you get some people who take bits of it and some people who you won't even speak to about it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to tune into yourself which ones are where, so that you can, you know, give the appropriate information and not overwhelm or give somebody something they don't want. And I did that once or twice in the beginning. I actually pushed it on people who didn't want it, and I knew 100% they didn't want it.
Oh, yeah.
But I absolutely pushed it on them just to see how it would all fall apart and blow up. And it did.
It's usually spectacular, in fact, when you do that.
But it was very interesting because you're quite capable of knowing when it's right and when it's wrong to speak to somebody about the subject. And it's also quite interesting to know that you can blow it up if you want to. You can, as Abram says, you can have the drama if you want.
You can.
And you can play that game.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
There's
nothing wrong with it.
No, you learned a lot from doing that.
There are
actually.
lessons to be learned in playing the drama out, and there's lessons to be learned playing it the nice way, you know.
One of the most valuable lessons I received by playing the drama game, I think I've told you politically, my viewpoint used to be categorized as libertarian. Today, I don't really have a political viewpoint, but that's where I was coming from at the time. And so as I was learning to kind of reach out and explain my understanding of law of attraction to somebody else, I was doing it with libertarians, which was probably about the most dramatic situation you could set up, because they'd be the least receptive in the most cases when it comes to being, when it comes to evaluating who would be receptive, who would not be receptive. Libertarians would definitely be in the non-receptive camp like 95% of the time. So I was definitely setting myself up for the drama, and I got it. I got plenty of drama. The thing that I learned most about it was that I'm no longer a libertarian, which was actually a wonderful piece of information. I realized, I still do have aspects of me that want to get involved politically, but they are much, what's the word? They're weaker, and they're more, they're just less important now. It doesn't have, it used to have a big, powerful feeling inside of me, like, oh, this is so important, I got to go do this. And it doesn't have that feeling. Now it's more like, a casual observer kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, they're doing that again.
Question for you. I've got a question for you about this. Are they less important, or you're more focused on where you want to go?
Well, sure. That's probably the more positive way of saying it. I'm more focused on where I want to go. I expressed it the other way just because that's the way I expressed it. But yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, obviously, because if I'm less interested on one thing, it means I'm more interested on another thing. What am I more interested on? Yeah, where I want to get to, or where I am right now. Even that's actually even more important. I want to know where I am right now, so that I know
exactly.
what I'm moving from and what I want changed, and I can shoot off those. You can't shoot off a rocket of desire in the past. You ever notice that? There's no way to do that.
You can bring the past into the present though by
You
recording
can,
it.
yeah, yeah, but you
Yeah,
can't shoot
and
off
then
in
you
the
can work
past.
from there. Yeah,
Yeah, you can do
you can do
that.
it from the
That's
past.
true. Yeah, you can. In that sense, you're learning from the past, which is kind of what I was talking about. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a strange thing.
The
Let's
reason why
see.
I brought that up, Walt, was because when you say, um, what were your words about the libertarians you felt?
Oh well, it was pretty clear that they were going to be about the least receptive group. I'm not sure exactly if that's the phrase you were looking at, but
No, no, no. What you learned from them.
oh,
Um,
what I learned is that I no longer was
you
interested in being libertarian. I no longer thought of myself as
you were
libertarian.
no longer interested in being libertarian. Is a
Yeah,
little bit like pushing against what you don't want, isn't it?
sure. Oh yeah.
Okay, which means it will magnify temporarily until you focus more on what you do want.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time on it. I count
Yeah,
on that 14
yeah,
second rule.
yeah.
It's a valuable rule.
It is a valuable rule. You now know it's not 17. You got to catch up.
That's right.
Gotta be quicker. You got to be quicker on your feet these days.
And I guess over time it's going to mean that we're going to have to be even quicker and quicker on our feet as the time reduces, because that's what it is. It's like an average time, isn't it? That,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what time? But the other thing about it, going down to 1 second, that means we'll be instant manifestors.
Well, this is true. This is very true. And actually, I think I like the idea of being an instant manifester. I mean, to me, the whole horror story about everything just showing up instantly and you can hardly keep up with it, that just means you're focused on what you don't want. I mean,
Don't want absolutely,
you
yeah.
know, to me it doesn't seem all that difficult. But I don't know. Maybe I'm I don't know. It just doesn't seem difficult. Anyway, we have our first question up here, and I'm really hoping I don't mispronounce your name. Siraj, I think it is, says a recent observation made me think about the question: do we want to be involved with political people to maybe support us? But I realized why I didn't agree with how they work. I'm not quite sure what that question means, but you can kind of see
Well,
where he's
I
going.
think I think very simply my answer is yeah, stay away from them.
Yes, right. Yes.
And the reason is political people are usually more focused on
What they don't want.
what they don't want. And they will suck you into that what they don't want into a nice big way. So
And they're very good at it,
yeah,
by the way. I know because I used to be one. I mean,
yeah,
you develop a real skill there of just sucking people
yeah.
into this terrible thing that you have absolutely no interest in being a part of.
So the important thing that I learned from Abram in connection with voting is, do you know how a country really votes, or a nation, or a world? How do they vote for anything?
Do I know?
Yes, I'm
I,
trying to see how much you know from the Abram perspective of voting.
I have never explored it from the Abraham perspective in the sense of listening to one of their workshops. I can give you some idea just from what I knew as a political science major. And it's
Okay,
not going to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
terribly different. It's going to have some similarities anyway. But the one thing that there are a few things you can count on. First of all, people never vote rationally; they vote emotionally. Second of all, they vote
Okay.
from positions of fear. They never you never actually have anybody who votes because they're voting for what they want. They're always voting against what they don't want,
Yeah.
and that basically makes politics useless from a perspective of trying to be in a better place. Now, I'm curious to know. I'm sure you can tell me what does Abraham say more specifically than that. But that's the basic lesson I've taken away from all my studies of political science.
Well, let's use Donald Trump for an example.
Well, he's an easy
First
one.
of all, yeah, he's an easy one. Yeah. First of all, Donald Trump's voting was not only in America; it was pretty much worldwide.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and it wasn't just because Americans can vote in other countries because they live there. with a proxy or whatever it is. It's because Abrams says that the voting takes place based on everybody's thoughts.
Yes, I agree.
First and foremost.
I agree.
So Trump got a lot of votes because a lot of people hated him.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally. Okay? I hate Trump, therefore you vote for Trump, as far as the universal law of attraction goes.
That's right.
Okay? Then you've got the voters who in mentally are saying, I like Trump. So he gets those votes too. So he got votes on both sides of the scale. Okay? Which is quite useful if you know how to play the game, if you know how the universal law of attraction works, or even if you intuit it from previous business acumen, you can get to understand that, any advertising is good advertising is kind of the way I learned the business world learns about law of attraction.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So the voting all happens in the mind first, and then the people play out the acting of going and ticking a piece of paper somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first and foremost is based on the thought processes. Now, you don't actually have to go vote because you're voting all the time by focusing on what you want.
Good point. Yeah.
Or what you don't want.
Well, yeah. Plenty
So
of that going on.
Step one is always done, is what Abram always says. You don't have to do step one. Step one is what do you want? Okay. When you know what you don't want, you have a clear idea what you do want, which is the whole process that goes on there. So the interesting thing is the voting happens thought-wise. Now, what happens if the world spends more time focusing on a beautiful planet, a beautiful country with things working together in harmony and coexistence, etc.? When those thoughts are more dominant and prominent, then the voting will manifest, even with the wrong person. Mm-hmm. Everything will start turning out right.
Yes.
Okay, because the voting doesn't stop once the president's in power. Okay, the voting continues all the time with your thoughts right here, right now. So if you are spending, there's so many studies done recently about praying, meditating, or focusing on hotspots in the world that are all going to pot and to hell, and when they get the whole world together online to pray and focus on what they want for that place, and they're quite specific about not pushing against what is going wrong there, but fixing it. And they've seen that the areas that they've done these meditations for only an hour with the whole planet involved, with certain people who agree to play the game, they've had incredible results, absolutely amazing results. The next day the things are sorted out again and again and again. So a friend of mine who was very big into Greenpeace and saving the planet and all the rest of it, once they started understanding the law of attraction, she started understanding. I said to her, this is what I said. I said, how quickly do you think you can fix all the problems on the planet if we all, everybody on the planet started focusing clearly on healing and helping and working in harmony with the planet? How quickly do you think that could fix everything? And when you start understanding the power that you have, the power that creates worlds, it happens like that. You'll start getting instant manifestations.
It's true, but you also have to focus on what you want, because that's the trap.
And collectively as well.
Well, collectively helps. Actually, I don't think you really have to do all that much collectively, but certainly
you don't have to do that much.
The collective energy is going to be multiplied. There's no doubt about that.
It is going to be multiplied,
yes.
But when you're talking about the whole planet, it probably is advisable to bring a few more people in who are in alignment, because one person in alignment...
I don't think you actually have to bring anybody in. I think that's actually the trap, in a sense. The idea that you have to bring them in. You don't have to bring them in. You have to focus on what you want, and they'll come in. They show up.
I completely agree with you. But you and I are co-creating, aren't we?
We certainly are. At least I hope so. I count on it every Monday. If we weren't, I was going to say, are we going to start the podcast over? I mean,
so bits and pieces of us will come together based on the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I say collectively, I'm saying not necessarily focused in the same way that you're looking to heal the planet, But because we're talking about it and we focused on in our own unique ways, and I agree with you, it is really a unique thing. But because of our point of attraction is going to be going in that direction, we're going to draw other people who are similar to us, and then the co-creation happens. But I completely agree with you. It is really up to the individual to focus on what he wants and not force anybody or cajole or manipulate anybody else to come and help.
Personally, I consider that to be like a relief. I mean, personally, I'm relieved when I think about it that way, because now I don't have to be an organizer. Now I don't have to be an activist. Like, you must join the cause. No, I don't have to do that.
From the youngest age, I could never join a group that was fighting against something, and something totally inside me felt totally wrong. And I followed it all the way through. I never joined any of them, ever.
Good for you.
Politics, I've never voted in my life, ever.
Wow.
Never. I've never, ever voted. It's never seemed right to vote for people who I don't agree with.
That's powerful. That's really very,
very
good.
This person is not right, this person is not right, or this person is not right. And somehow I knew that if I focused on making myself a better person, if I focused on building the people up around me, if I focused on the best thoughts that I can for my life and my surroundings, it would be more value than voting for 3 or 4 people that I don't like, that I don't respect, and I do not have any time for.
Absolutely, yeah.
If I had a Gandhi, I'd vote for them, but that was a rare individual.
Yeah, but if you have a Gandhi, he's not going to run for office anyway, so it doesn't matter.
There are very few like that. Is there any more questions there?
Well, we have Sarah actually posted something it's not completely a question, but it gives us something good to talk about. She says she's trying to manifest a new business to be successful. She says, so I can leave my current job, which is full of negative, evil energy. I feel my current position sucking the life out of me because of people. Staying to stay positive and manage positive vibes for my business to do well.
Just to complete the last one, I saw a little statement there from Suraj. Can't pronounce her name again.
Suraj, I think it is.
Somewhere you showed me how I can go back and see all the comments. So I need to find that out again.
I usually just click on the time at the top so that the post becomes my entire page. That way I don't miss any more comments, or usually don't anyway. Sometimes I do. Facebook's a little bit confusing sometimes, trying to figure out how to make it work to our advantage. But that's my most successful strategy, is to click the time.
I've got it there now.
And we do have a question from Angela coming up next, so we'll be able to deal with that pretty quick.
Okay, but I just wanted to round it off. She said something that I completely agreed with. It's like it's an inside job, and we start with ourselves. Yes, I completely agree with you. Just to finish that off, excellent. I really like that. Yeah, let's move on. Can you repeat that last question? The
one from Sarah. Yeah, it wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement, but certainly worth addressing. She wrote, trying to manifest a new business to be successful so I can leave my current job, which is full of negative, evil energy. I feel my current position is sucking the life out of me because of people. Staying to stay positive and manage positive vibes for my business to do well. And then XX. So not really a question, but still stating a situation.
So I'm looking at the situation. She wants to go from employed to self-employed.
Right.
Having done that myself, I can tell you it's a huge step. Generally doesn't happen overnight. Okay, because the mindset is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, if I don't work and I'm sick, I still get paid. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When you work for yourself.
I went through the same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a huge leap, Sarah. It's a huge leap. So I would recommend easing your way out of the old place. Now, and the other thing is, if you feel people are hating you and attacking you, or they're evil, okay, then you are very likely to move that into your business. Okay, you're going to take those thoughts that you have, and you're going to move into a new environment, but different places, different faces, but you've got the same thought processes. So you're going to bring in the old vibe.
Great point.
Okay, it's the law of attraction, and it's the way it works. So I strongly recommend that you understand that there's no such thing as evil. Okay. A guy in the sauna, I'll bring back the story which I've mentioned once before, but it's a good story. In the sauna, he said to me, Louis, the second time I've met you, the first time I really loved everything you said, but there's one thing I completely disagree with you with. There is evil in this world. Now, he told me he was an alcoholic, and he told me he's been through the rehab, and he's a fit, young, his eyes are clear, lovely individual, who I have the fullest respect for going from the one place to the other.
Oh, sure.
And now he teaches at his local church and all the rest of it. And, he's now a pillar of the community. And I said to him, so I know you've been through a lot in your life, and tell me, have all those experiences, did you do bad things to people, and do people do bad things to you? And he said, absolutely. He said, you have no idea how terrible things I've done and what people have done to me. It was horrendous. So I said to him, okay, now tell me, I'm seeing this really nice, clear-eyed guy who's helping other people, good-looking body in front of me. Now, did all those experiences carve you into the person you are today, or didn't they? And he went, well, yes, I suppose they did. So I said, were they really evil and bad, or were they expansion points in your life to help you get to where you are now? He said, well, I suppose I have to agree with you that they helped me expand and get to where I am today. And I said, fantastic. So is there really evil in the world? And he said to me, when you look at it like that, I suppose there isn't. Okay. And that is very interesting, because if you're still seeing evil in your life, if you're still looking at right and wrong, you're going to land up playing a very confused, not so happy life. Okay? Because you're not taking responsibility for your actions. B, you're not clearly focused on what you want. And I'm a sharpshooter. I don't like playing around. I'll tell somebody exactly how it is. They may like me or may not like me. I don't really mind. But this is how it is. If you get what I'm saying, you can really move forward in your life. You can really start focusing on where you want to go, this new business and everything. But if you're dragging evil along with you, oh my gosh, it's going to be painful.
And that's the key point. I mean, does the evil exist? I would say yes, it exists because you created it. And
it does exist, but all it is, Walt, all evil is thoughts about what you don't want.
Exactly.
It's nothing more than thoughts that you don't.
And there's a lot of it, because there are a lot of people creating it. And
you've created a lot of it yourself.
I certainly. Are you kidding? I'm the world champion.
We all have. Me included. But I tell you what I really experienced, Walt, is when you start looking at it from the LOA, Abraham Hicks point of view, your mind becomes so much more relaxed. Your life becomes so much more relaxed. You stop torturing yourself. Okay? And you start moving forward, creating your life, finding the things that are delicious to you and moving with them, and stop worrying about what anybody else thinks. Okay? Because that's the big trap humanity does.
That's a large trap.
What are they going to think about me? If I leave this business and I fail, there's going to be, what are they going to think? They hate me already. And, there's like this whole drama goes on in one's head. And it's of no value. Zeros of value. All it is sucking you into a world that is going to expand on what you don't want, because the law of attraction will say, focused on that, I'm going to make more. Focused on that, I'm going to make more. Focused on that, I'm going to make more. Until you start seeing that you're hitting your head against a wall, and you start following the rocket of desire. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could find a way, find the cooperative components to come in place so that I can start seeing how I can move out of this environment and start really carving my life into something that is beautiful, that is happier, that is nicer, that is something that is going to please me and appease me.
Now, Sarah has a qualification to what she said. I'm going to copy and paste over here just because it's easier for me to talk on the camera while I'm reading it when I've got it over here. But she says, sorry, wrong wording when she says evil. It's just wrong-minded people. And she says she's been running her business for a year now. Just feel it is not ready for me to leave my current full-time job. Just feel it is having a huge impact on my mind. What do you think?
Sarah, follow the path of the least resistance. If you don't feel you're ready to leave, stay there a bit longer. Suck it up. Okay? If you've got two choices like, my boss is an absolute asshole and I have to pay my mortgage every month, okay? Now, whichever one is least painful, that's the one you do. So if it's less painful to suck it up and spend a little more time with your boss and pay your mortgage, then you do that. But if it's so painful that you don't really care if you can't pay your mortgage next month and you go live back with your mom or something, then you choose the one of the least resistance. Because when you keep on choosing the path of least resistance, you get into the path of most allowing. You'll start being able to carve your life out and move forward. Faster, quicker, happier way.
That's a good point.
But thanks for clarifying that, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's see, we have a question that Angela posted. I wanted to make sure that we got to that. She says, if the law is impartial and must give us what we ask for, why do some teachers say, if it hasn't shown up, maybe it's not a vibrating match to you? Well, I think that's a direct contradiction. Universal divine energy is either partial or impartial. So which is it?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
So if you want something, Abram says it's a train going that way towards where you want to go. But it hasn't arrived yet is a train going that way. I really want that red car, but it hasn't arrived yet. Okay? So the only thing that ever stops you achieving what you want are thoughts that are contrary to what you want. So when they say you're not a vibrational match, it just happens that you've got a few more trains going in the wrong direction. Otherwise, if you had 0 trains going in that direction or all going in that direction, there is nothing in the universe that will not stop you instant manifestation. Nothing. So once one gets that, one really starts understanding that the only thing that's stopping you getting what you want is yourself, and it is thoughts about it not being there yet, or haven't arrived, or I'm not worthy, or of this great lover or partner or job or whatever it is that hasn't arrived yet. So when they say you're not a vibrational match, all they're saying is that you still have some thoughts that are contrary to you not having it yet. Right? And it's as simple as that. It's really simple. But in practice, I understand why. People have a lot of challenges with it, because you often don't see the thoughts that are contradicting you once you become more and more positive. You start really saying, but I am really focused on it and I really believe it should be here. But there are so many old programs running in the background which you are often not clearly aware of. And I don't recommend you go and dig out those old programs and clean them and wash them and make sure that they work better. I recommend you just lay new pipes, new ideas of where you want to go, new ones, clean ones, okay? And just keep on running with that. And the momentum of that, once the car starts rolling down the hill, you don't even need to put the gas on it, take the handbrake off, steer it, and it'll go by itself. So you just want to build up the momentum to where you're going. And to do that, you need to stay awake and aware of what's filling in my grid. What are the cooperative components? Which way should I go? How do you know which way you should go? Does it feel better or does it feel worse? Feels better, you go that way. If it feels worse, you turn around and go the other way. Mm-hmm. So use that emotional guidance. Practically using the law of attraction is all about staying very aware about, does this feel good to me or doesn't it feel good to me? Wow, that really feels good to me. I'm going that way. Okay. Wow, that really feels bad to me. Turn around, go the other way. Okay. And you start getting clearer and clearer, because we weren't brought up to understand this emotions or your guidance. You weren't brought up to say, hey, you're born, My daughter understands that now. My 3-year-old's going to understand it as soon as she's aware enough. She's watching it in me. She's watching it in the family. We're all focused on, does this feel better? Does it not feel better? It doesn't matter what society says, where you are, what the rules are. If it feels better, I'm going that direction. Come hell or high water, because everything will work out. Because your higher self knows how to fit in all these weird and wonderful things. Somebody said to me, I went to the club the other day with my daughter, and I wanted to take swimming, and there's a sign saying they're adult swimming only. I was like, oh, okay. No, I'm saying positive. I really want to go swimming today. So I said to the lady behind the desk, I brought my little one here to go swimming today. And I see there's the sign here. So does that mean I can't take her? So she said, no, I'll get one of the lifeguards to come and you can just go swim. I said, wow. Okay, cool.
Nice.
So I went down there and the lady says, oh, it's adults only. I said, no, I spoke to the lady on the reception desk. She said she'll get a lifeguard down here and I can swim. So I swam. And I realized it created a huge ruckus in the whole thing because the lady shouldn't have said that. They weren't prepared for it and all the rest of it. But I swam, and when I was ready, she said, oh, well, we don't have anybody to guard you anymore. You need to leave now. I said, oh, no worries. I'm just about to leave. So it's perfect. So I got, even though all the rules were against where I was going, I got all the cooperative components together. I had my swim with my daughter, who's a 3-year-old, and we had a great time. And then when I was ready, everything fell in place for me to go and for them not to have somebody to look after you anymore. So, you can get around so many rules and regulations that you think are there to restrict you, but they're really thoughts in your mind, and the universal law of attraction can bring in many components to help you just carve your way through it all.
Very good stuff. I wanted to address one of the things that Angela raised in her question, because she raised the idea of the universal energy being partial or impartial. And my reply on that part of the question, I think you addressed the rest of the question perfectly. Regarding partial or impartial, it's always impartial. The ones who are partial are us. We're the ones who decide what it is that we want, what it is that we don't want. That's being partial. The universal law itself, the law of attraction, is impartial. It's just like whatever you want. Yeah, you want to hurt yourself? Okay, we'll give you more to hurt yourself. You want to help yourself? Okay, we'll give you more to help yourself. You want to feel good? Okay, we'll give you more to feel good. It's impartial. It doesn't really care. We're the ones who decide, and that's the beauty of it.
Do you know what I found is another part of the beauty of that impartialness? Is the fact that he keeps on working and I float up when I walk out my door in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
The universal law of attraction is so consistent. It allows us to create a world and to have families and have bodies and talk to each other and react and have politics and all the other things that are great in our lives. And it keeps it all together. And it keeps it all together because of that beautiful impartiality of its exactness. It is has been from the time the physical universe was created. The universal law of attraction has not in any shape or time changed, modified. It has been completely, absolutely, and utterly impartial from beginning to end. From beginning to now, or from now to now to now to now to now to now to now, and from now onwards. Okay, there is only the now. So the impartialness, to me, the beauty of the stability of the law of attraction is it's so immense, it's so incredible, it's so beautiful that I love your question because it really points to not looking at its impartiality, but looking at it at its incredibleness of what it's done to and allowed us to create. When that was explained to me, it was really an eye opener. So I hope that in some sense, if it doesn't, please comment, ask anything.
Yeah, we love questions.
I really don't mind any question on any subject. There's nothing that's taboo. Please ask it.
And we're getting a lot of commentary, which is good. People are involved, but also don't be afraid to bring in a question, because that's part of the process of putting out your rocket of desire. You have this desire. Well, share it, and we'll help you. Understand what's happening as you're putting out that rocket, and understand how to get yourself into a better place so that you can bring into your life the thing that you're most wanting to have. That's one of the reasons we do this show. So yeah, put the questions out there. And I also want to comment, Louis, we are getting larger numbers of live pairs of eyes looking at us than we've previously had. We're reaching new levels right now. So apparently this is resonating.
Walt is getting what he wants.
I'm getting what I want. That's true. And in the process of me getting what I want, everybody else is getting what they want, which is exactly the way I envisioned it happening. I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Also, I had a comment from Suraj. He says, thank you for the session. If possible, please connect with me personally. We'll have a good conversation. Feel free to connect directly. Use the messenger, Suraj. Just reach out, and I'm happy to chat with people. I won't speak for Louis, but I imagine he is too, because he loves this topic so much. So yeah, reach out to us. That's what we want you to do.
Suraj, you want to have a conversation with me anytime?
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely.
I'm on Facebook. Walt will link you into me if you. As Walt says, it's a conversation that I talk about almost all day, every day. As I was telling Walt the other day, I think it was offline, I said, you have no idea how many people I speak to on this topic every day. You have no idea. My boiler broke down and I couldn't get it started. So I phoned up my insurance company, and the guy comes around, and there's an unusual looking character. I've never seen him before. And he starts tampering with it and gets it fixed in 2 seconds. And we spend 2 hours chatting about law of attraction and all the rest of it. It was fantastic. If I don't have anybody to talk to, I manifest them.
You might want to be a little bit more selective how you do that, but that's still good,
He didn't charge me for the call outs. I was like, yeah. Gave me 2 hours of law of attraction as payment.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. I mean, you said that a few times, how I would not believe how many times you talk to people about this every day. So, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many times a day do you talk to people about the law of attraction?
Well, once this day, and 20 that day, and 3 the other. The answer you didn't want. It varies. And it varies depending on really my clarity of focus of what I want. Some days I don't want people to talk to, and I manifest that. Some days I just want to internalize. Sometimes I just want to grow and look inside and feel what's there and meditate and still the mind and all the rest of it. And some days I really want to just interact and play with people and talk to them and get out there. And I manifest that just the perfect balance comes up. And, I'm not worried about people swamping me or any of that, because I know I create my point of attraction. I will be able to manifest a balance that will fall in place. So.
Nasha is asking about her question, and I've been following what she's been typing, but to be honest, Nasha, I'm not quite sure what the question is. You've made a number of statements, but I'm not sure what the question is. Oh, wait, here's one. How much weight can I lose with my actions and power of my thoughts in 6 months? Okay, so I apologize. You did have a question. I just missed that one. How much weight can I lose with my actions and power of my thoughts in 6 months?
So Asha, I help people lose weight. So I've got a lot of knowledge on the subject. So first of all, the first thing I'd like to say is whenever I now teach anybody about losing weight, I can't start anymore without teaching them the law of attraction first. Why would I not teach them the most powerful tool that they can have and start working with that, with the products, with the exercise, with everything else that goes with it? And I have a huge amount of knowledge, which a lot of it has become redundant after I understood the law of attraction. So how much can you lose? I would say how do I put this politely? You're not focused on what you want. You're focused on what you're pushing against what you don't want. You said lose weight. Now, your focus is not, I want to get into the best shape of my life. I want to carve the body. I want to be fit and happy and healthy. Your focus is losing weight. If you focus on losing weight, you're just going to get more weight. Okay, so don't go down that route. That's why I teach the law of attraction first, because you now know, you're now clear about what you don't want. You don't want the extra weight. But what do you want? You want to shape up the body. You want to get in good health. You want to have more energy. You want to be fantastic. You want to look good. You want to fit into those old clothes. Now, that is now following the rocket of desire, what you want. So if you keep on banging on the drum of what you don't want, which is the weight, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and that's why all the weight loss programs, which I used to run, by the way, fall apart. They don't last because people go back to weight. Okay, I've lost the weight, but I'm still focusing on losing weight, so I've got to get more weight to lose more weight. And it just becomes a weird trap, which, of course, once you understand the law of attraction, it makes complete and utter sense as you're not focusing on the rocket of desire. So if you can write a few statements on this group now of what you want as opposed to what you don't want, then we can play.
It's funny.
But I want you to start having the shift of what you want first. I want you to really get that rocket of desire.
It's funny that we're talking about this because I mentioned earlier that I joined a gym. And when you join this particular gym, they give you a little questionnaire, a 10-minute questionnaire to fill out for the time that you have your first personal training session with a trainer. And as I'm going through the questionnaire, there was like a whole page that was devoted to how much weight do you want to lose, and asking questions about, do you know what your body mass is, your fat mass and your protein, your muscle mass, and all that,
and your visceral fat,
all that. I'll calculate all out, and then I drew an extra, and I said, I just want to feel better. And I figured I'm throwing a monkey wrench into their whole plan, but I just want to feel better.
You know how there's organizations that police other organizations. Okay, there's lots of them out there. So I want to start the LOA police. Okay, so this form you've given us, the LOA police is going to tear it up and say, none of this must be in there. Okay, this all has to go. Those questions, okay, you can ask them as long as they take less than 14 seconds. And then they focus on where you want to go as opposed to where you are. Right? So if you focus where you are all the time, you're going to get more of where you are.
This is true. Very true. We have a couple more questions to bring up, so let's try to get them in while we can. First, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Gitanjali, I think is the name, says, why do I get attracted to the wrong men? How can I avoid it?
Are you male or female? I'm just curious.
I don't think it really matters, but I'll see if I can find out for you.
No, it doesn't really matter.
Let's see what we got here.
So run the question by me again, please, Walt.
Why do I get attracted to the wrong men? How can I avoid it?
Okay, so where is the predominant thought? The question is about what you don't want, yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. So your predominant thought is what you don't want. What is the universal law of attraction going to get you? More of what you don't want. Mm-hmm. All right, so the answer is the same. Doesn't matter what your question is. I remember this one guy came to Abram and says, I've listened to you long enough to know that I have the answer already, and that you're going to tell me exactly what I already know. And it is really true. So the way Abram helps people, and this is the key thing, and it's what I don't get beautifully, and I definitely won't get it incredibly well through somebody asking me a question, type chatting on a live cast like this, is I'm not going to be really clear vibrationally where you are so that I can take you a little further to where you need to go. All right, but that is what you're really looking for. So instead of blatantly talking about the whole, you're here and you need to be there, there's a step of phases that you need to go through to get there, and it's called the emotional tone scale. And if you haven't really come across it with the law of attraction, it's very important to understand that you're over here, and what statement feels better to you? Well, the statement, wouldn't it be nice if I started bumping to people a little bit more than are more in harmony of where I want to go and what kind of people I really want to bump into. That's a little harsh. Trying to think of some nice words. So wouldn't it be nice if is a very powerful phrase. Wouldn't it be nice if I find something that vibrates with me a little bit better, that I can get along with a little bit better. I know I'm not going to find my dream guy maybe immediately. That would be nice. That would be a quantum leap, but it'll take a huge amount of shift in my old thinking to let go of and to run with where I want to be. So let's just start generally. Let's go from focusedly negative to they never find the right person to generally negative, which is statements like, I understand the law of attraction, and I understand that if I start focusing a little more on what I want, then I'm going to get a little bit of a better place. So let me start cleaning up my vibration. So when you clean up your vibration, guys, that is where it starts. It starts with your thoughts. So when you're cleaning up your thoughts and you're starting to go from focusedly negative to generally negative, it's a huge leap. So don't underestimate it. Don't be frustrated with yourself that you've not rocketed into the right person and it's all beautiful and suns and roses, because you don't actually want that, by the way. You actually want to enjoy the process of knowing what you don't want and then shooting into where you do want, because even that small contrast going from focusedly negative to generally negative is going to be so delicious. You're going to love it. It's going to be getting nicer people around you and better thoughts, and you're going to start seeing things a little more positively. But don't run that whole thing all the way into the positive. It's why when I was young I hated something that happened at school. I arrived at school, it was assembly, and there was this girl. She had just won the award for best speaker, debater. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about positivity. And I listened to her whole thing about you got to be positive, and when you're positive, everything works better. And I was like, God, this feels so horrible. Why does it feel so horrible? I felt something was phony there. I just couldn't get it until I understood Abraham's teachings of you've got to go from focusedly negative to generally negative, and generally negative to generally positive, from generally positive to focusedly positive. That's when the whole thing started swinging for me. That's why I felt so bad in this thing, because she was just saying, be positive, be positive, be positive. And I can't be positive all the time. And she wasn't talking about the importance of being negative. Do you know, this person who's talking about finding the right partner, do you know how many factors you brought into your life to get you to that place? You have brought so many things into your life to get you to that place where you know what you don't want. All right? And it's a beautiful place to be, because with the clarity of what you don't want, you have a better idea of what you do want. Mm-hmm. Okay? Exactly. You start being able to make that shift happen from what you don't want to what you do want. And the more you start focusing on what you don't want and never find the right partners, etc., it's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. That's what the universal law of attraction does. When you're focusing on what you don't want, it just makes it bigger. So you can't go wrong. It's going to make it so big that you'll see it. You'll see it. Okay. Yeah. And then you'll start saying, okay, wouldn't it be nice if, and you start going generally negative. Wouldn't it be nice if I found more people that, fit into where I want to go and what I want to see? Wouldn't it be nice if I started working with the law of attraction more, and I started really understanding it? Let me go and really, my biggest advice to anybody is really study the law of attraction. And a good place for anybody to start is Abraham Hicks's beginning book, which is called The Law of Attraction. It's the basics. It's really start at the beginning, because a lot of people don't really get it. Okay? They don't really get it. And once you finish that book, you will really start understanding it. Now, if you buy a set of Monopoly, Walt, and you're going and you say, oh, I really want to play this game. And, oh, there's no rules. There's no rules. What am I going to do? I just close my eyes and move pieces. I don't know. What's this go to jail? What does collect 200? What does that mean? I'll just raid the bank, So that's what a lot of us are doing when we don't understand the law of attraction, because it is the rule to the game that we're playing.
It's true. Very true.
So go out there and understand the rule, understand the law. Mm-hmm. And there's a few things about it. One is, whatever you put your mind on, you're going to amplify. 2, if you focus on what you don't want, you're going to get more of it. If you focus on what you do want, you're going to get more of it. It's the same thing. 3, your emotions are your guidance. When you feel good about something, you go that way. When you don't feel good, you turn around and you go the other way. Okay? And the other one is every subject's 2 subjects, a very valuable thing. Now, if you just understand those clearly, you will be able to turn so much in your life around, and you'll be able to fly. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We have about 5 minutes left, and Siraj has been begging me to address his next question. So his next question is, please talk about midlife crisis. How will we use the law of attraction in a midlife crisis?
Fantastic. Lovely question. I had a midlife crisis. It happened at the age of 30 when I thought I couldn't do all the kids' things anymore. I couldn't go on the camps. It really hit me. When I arrived at 50, it was like, breeze, no problem, I'm happy. I'm off.
It's interesting because it was 30 for me also. That's interesting.
Was it 30 for you too?
It was 30 for me also.
There's so many similarities between you and me, Walt. I knew I picked you for a reason. So what is midlife crisis? Oh my gosh, it's all about focusing on what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
Answer's the same for everything.
It truly is.
So,
and how do you how do you talk about it? Well, more precisely, how will we use the law of attraction in the midlife crisis? You're going to use it the same way you use it with everything else. The thing I love about I love the phrase. I love the phrase. How will we use the law of attraction? As if there are times we don't use it. That's what I love about it. It's like, it's like, how do I use gravity? You use it all the time. I mean, the only time you're not using gravity in any significant way is if you're out in outer space, and that doesn't happen too often for most people. So you're using gravity all the time. Well, the same thing is true with the law of attraction. You're using it all the time. So how are you going to use it? Well, that's up to you. That's the beauty of it. You get to decide how you're going to use it.
So, Walt, going back to what I was saying earlier about monopoly, understand the law. Understand how it works. Get clarity on it.
And I really emphasize what you said, too. I love that book. The Abraham Hicks book, The Law of Attraction, The Basics of the Teachings of Abraham, is far and away the best primer on how the law of attraction works and how to understand all of the aspects of the law of attraction. It is far deeper than any of the others that are out there. It's more comprehensive. It's clear. And if you work through it, don't read it fast. That's the only thing I would recommend. Do not read it fast. Read it slowly. Take your time on every single point that it makes, because if you do, you learn loads and loads just by reading it that slowly.
Yeah. So going back to midlife crisis, it's just thoughts that you don't want, okay? That are throwing you into this world of, oh my God, you know. So a midlife crisis is often a crisis about starting to find out who the hell you are when you think you should have found out who you are a lot earlier. Now, I found out, I started searching at the age of 8. I said to my mom, Mom, what is truth, love, and God really about? And she looked at me, and I realized I had to find my own way. So it can happen at any stage. My midlife crisis was at the age of 8, okay? But it doesn't matter when you start. But if you're starting now, you can move forward to where you want to go. Where you want. So get clarity about it. Get into that place where, oh my God, I understand how this works, how that works. I can solve anybody's problems because I now understand the rules to the game of life.
Now, speaking of the rules to the game of life, we got about a minute and a quarter left, and Nasha's also been pushing me because she sent a qualification to what she said earlier. She had asked the question about losing weight in 6 months, and what she's followed up with a number of things. But I'll just grab one piece. She said, I want to know how in shape can I be in 5 months? How healthy and hot can I become with using LOA with a positive change in the way I look? So she's trying to express it in a more positive way than she did before. And I don't know if you can answer that in 10 seconds, but give it a shot.
So the mind can carve the body with its thoughts. Okay? And it does. It made it fat with its thoughts. Okay? So use the mind, visualize where you want to go, think about what kind of body, life, and health you want to. And don't let anything and anyone stop you from playing in your mind with who you want to be, and you will be amazed what the law of attraction will bring to your door. The right people, the right time, the right place. And I hear a bing there, so I imagine we're done. And I think that's the best advice I can give in
That was good. Your bing happened exactly at 1 hour. That was very, very good, I have to say. Really, really well. Well done. Well done. No, this has been good.
Love chatting to you guys. Thanks very much.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for contributing. And do feel free to keep those cards and letters coming in, as Cindy likes to say, because we love to address them. And Louis, I look forward to talking to you again next week.
Fantastic. Love chatting, Walt.
All right.
Have a great day.
Yep, you too. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Focus on what you want. Bye.
All right.